Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, April 16th. Hope everybody's doing very well. It is a beautiful day this morning. All right, today I started off on a roll. I sent the wrong link for the meeting this morning, so tell a friend. I resent the new link out, so we have the new link. I sent the personal meeting link for the training room, not the actual training room. So glad for you all that are here, and crowd is growing. Great. Today we're going to talk about controlling narrative. We've been talking a lot about this. There's so much information out there. Your sellers, your buyers, everybody is seeing all kinds of information, and they are perceiving it from their level of perception. You can only ever understand things from your level of perception. So what they see, what they know is what they believe. We have to find better ways to be more responsive and not reactive. So we're going to talk about some of the stats going on around us so we can understand what's going on. We can control the narrative a little bit better. Let's jump in. All right. So we're going to talk about keeping current matters, but there's a few slides in here that we're going to deviate off from, and then we're also going to talk about what people are seeing on Zillow so you know how to reply to those things as well, because we're getting a lot of traction on a lot of different things, but it's not all things that we really want to hear. So let's say what you need to keep an economy chugging is business investing, business hiring, and people spending money. If people are apprehensive about spending money, or whether their jobs are going away, or whether there's going to be layoffs, you're going to start to see a small pullback on spending. So what we've seen just recently, it was the first month of the year, there was a small pullback on spending. What was that related to? Let's just be real about it. What's it related to? Uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty around. This was January 2025 was the first time that they saw a slight pullback in spending since March of 23, so in 2 years. So slight pullback on spending. What just happened at the end of the year? Changeover from Democrat to Republican, from Biden to Trump. That's one thing. What else is going on? There was uncertainty in the political arena. There's uncertainty in the world arena. There was a lot of stuff going on with potential bombings and unrest all over the world. Lots of uncertainty with changes. Then there's tariffs, and there's where this is going to happen, that's going to happen, real estate, interest rates. So yes, it is quite natural for those things to happen. It is not the end of the world. There's a slight pullback on spending. When people get fearful, they stop spending. But what does Warren Buffett say? When people are fearful, be greedy. When people are greedy, be fearful. So in moments like this, it is a great time, an opportune time for people to take advantage of the opportunities that are there. What is creating and feeding some of this? Headlines. Headlines do more to terrify than they do to clarify. And I'm going to show you one, and we're going to break it down, and I'm going to show you what the headline said and what everybody thinks, but what the headline was really referencing and what it meant and what it actually did. So let's look at what this one headline says. 6.1 million Americans are behind on their mortgage, the highest in 20 plus years. 6.1 million Americans are behind on their mortgage, the highest in 20 plus years. And this comes from Freddie Mac. So, and then they're saying 6.1 million Americans, FHA loans are the highest delinquency rate that they've been in over 20 years. Okay, well, let's go dig into what it actually means. So let's look at that. What's actually happening? It's a scary headline, but it's also very misleading. It's an extremely misleading headline. Yes, homeowner delinquency rates have ticked up slightly, but they're still below pre-COVID levels. Right before COVID, there was not a very high delinquency rate. Delinquency rates went up during COVID because of jobs, because of payments, because people didn't have the funds, they weren't working. And then there was a huge government spend to be able to extend those. So they've ticked up slightly, but they're still below pre-COVID levels where there was a normal market, a normal market of foreclosures, a normal market of delinquencies, a normal market of purchases, a normal market of sales. Everything was perfectly normal during that time. As of February 2025, the national delinquency rate is 3.53%. up slightly from 3.34% last year. So 0.2%. 0.2% increase. Okay, doesn't sound too bad. Serious delinquencies of 90 plus days are just 1.68%. And this graph was talking about what the graph shows and what the headline was are two different things. The graph shows, when you read that, it says these are serious delinquency rates. So the serious delinquency rates were up a little bit, but they're not relating to each other. The headline and the graph are talking about two different things. So it's, again, more fear-based. Conventional loan delinquencies, just 2.62%. So what is that actual headline? What is the truth? The truth is that headline is based on Freddie Mac's serious delinquency rate for multifamily loans, not single-family loans. The headline is based on Freddie Mac's serious delinquency rate for multifamily loans, not single-family home. We're talking about apartment buildings with 5+ units, not the typical homeowner with a 30-year mortgage. Do a lot of people buy investment properties, and do they do investment loans? Do they use adjustable rate mortgages when they do that? Yes, some people do. Do those affect their ability to repay? Have rents gone up or down? Depends. Some areas they've gone up, some areas they've leveled out. Have prices gone up or down? Depends. You see graphs where some prices are kind of leveling out, maybe down a small percent. Some are still up. Does that affect ability to repay if you bought an investment and have a loan on a multifamily house? Yes. There is some uncertainty. Are there so many multifamily houses, multifamily apartments and things being built all over the place? Yes. Does that mean vacancy rates for them might go up a little bit? And if they do, that affects their ability to repay. So this is we're talking about apartment buildings with 5+ units, not typical homeowner with a 30-year fixed mortgage. And while multifamily delinquencies are up slightly, still under 1%, they're being misrepresented as a signal of widespread housing distress. So what should buyers and sellers in your area take from this? This is not 2008. This has nothing to do with subprime mortgages. This has nothing to do with buyers not being qualified. This has nothing to do with the current mortgage rates. This has everything to do with multifamily, people taking loans for multifamily, getting into certain positions. There are some delinquencies, but what are they mostly going to do? Because most places prices have gone up. They can refinance because interest rates gone down, or have they come up? Depends. Some places they've come down, so they could refinance. What else does it mean? They can lower their rents and end up renting out more if they have a bigger vacancy rate. There's a lot of things that people can do. This is not 2008. This is not a subprime mortgage issue. There's no wave of distressed sales on the horizon. The local market remains active, very lifestyle driven, and very nuanced. Fear-driven narratives may get clicks, but they don't tell the full story. That's why I dig into the data so that my clients can make smart, confident decisions grounded in reality. Want to know how the market's really doing in your area? Please reach out. So I'm sure all of you have seen that headline talking about 6.1 million Americans behind on their mortgage, the highest in 20+ years. Okay, yeah, the graph and the stats and the data are talking about the Freddie Mac serious delinquencies on multifamily. Let's just say worst case scenario that there are recessionary activities going on in the market. What does that mean for real estate? Does a recession mean that prices fall? Does a recession mean that real estate prices are grossly impacted and create a negative impact? No. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the last 6 recessions had price increases. 4 out of the last 6. And one of those was the artificially created housing market crash in 2008, where subprime mortgages and everybody was just freaking out, and they created that problem by the mortgages that they were giving and the mortgage-backed securities. So if you take that out of that, 4 out of the last 5 prices went up, and the one where prices didn't go up, they only came down 1.9%. So on a $500,000 home, they dropped to maybe $491. not a huge drop. So this is not the end of the world, even if there were all of these recessionary activities going on. What usually happens if there is a recession? Mortgage rates fall. Of all of the last 6 recessions, in every single one of them, mortgage rates came down. So we have a scenario where if, again, I'm not saying this is going on. I'm saying you need to be prepared and you need to be able to discuss this with your buyers and sellers, because they're seeing headlines like this. If there is a recession, what does that typically mean for real estate? Well, four out of the last 6 recessions, home prices went up. If we take out the 2008 artificially created crash, because that was created, if we just have 4 out of the last 5, the home prices went up. And then 6 out of the last 6 recessions, mortgage rates went down. So as a homeowner, it doesn't mean too much for you. You're in an area where a lot of people do want to buy. You're in an area where a lot of people are moving to. It's very highly desirable. There's lots of incentives, lots of home builders building product in Florida, all over the country, or all over the state of Florida, and mortgage rates go down. You have more buying power as a buyer because mortgage rates gone down. It's a better time to buy. And as a seller, home prices still go up. And if you own a home and you have a mortgage rate and you're coming into maybe a challenging scenario, mortgage rates go down. You can refinance and save money on your current payment. So for the real estate market, it doesn't really mean anything negative for us. We have to control what's going on inside of our mind. So number of homes on the market reaches highest level since 2009. Good. Good. This is a very good thing for the real estate market. It's creating a healthy real estate market. We are way behind in inventory, extremely behind in inventory. Still, we are just now starting to catch up on inventory because home builders are building more homes than they've ever built. I think the stat comes up next. It's like 30% of all of the homes on the market, 30% newly built homes, that's a percent of all home sales. 30% of all the sales that are happening are new home sales. We need that. That's what's creating inventory. And where is most of our inventory? Here in Florida. Or in the country, most of it's here in Florida. We have a ton of builders building here. We have a lot of land to build on. So we have more inventory, and interest rates have been coming down, and we have more opportunity for buyers. So it's a very good thing. Our inventory has been very, very suppressed for the last 5 years, 6 years. 7, oh goodness, our inventory has been down since 2017 and 18. We've still seen low levels of inventory, and then COVID just took that for a ride. This means more homes on the market and more options for buyers, which is good news for our housing market that has been underbuilt for over a decade. So what to expect in the spring market? 2005 existing homes for sale inventory. So we're expecting home inventory to continue to increase. Good. Because what happens as interest rates come down? More buyers come into market. More buyers come into market. When is the best time to list and sell a home? The month of April. Statistically, the best time to list a home is in the month of April. So you list your home, we're going to have more homes coming on the market. Interest rates are still ticking down. We're going to have more buyers coming back into the market, which is going to keep a healthy market. It's not going to drive prices crazy going up because there is more choices for the borrowers to choose from. It's going to make a more healthy market for the buyers to be able to compete a little bit, and the sellers to still be able to put their home on the market and get a good price for them and have some negotiation. It's going to be a good opportunity. So we're getting closer to a balanced market, which is good for both buyer and seller and literally the economy as a whole. Absolutely. When the market is more balanced, do home builders feel more confident building? Yes. And does that make for better pricing for consumers? Yes, especially when there's more competition and everybody has to compete. Buyers have to compete, sellers have to compete. Makes for a very balanced market. We'll have a good spring season. Regional and metro inventory trends. So year over year, our inventory is up. The pre-pandemic levels were extremely low, very, very low. So the fact that we have inventory coming up is a very good thing. Again, continue to create a balanced market with competition for all. The 2025 existing home for sale inventory forecast, again, we're expecting inventory to go up. And the home price forecast, the average of all of the people that are predicting are still expecting and predicting about a 2.7 to 3% increase in home prices for this year. Again, more competition for sellers with inventory rising, lower interest rates, more buyers coming in. So competition for both sides creates a very healthy, very balanced market, which means home sales will continue to increase and home values will still increase. They're just not going to jump off the charts. Homes are taking about a week longer to sell this year. This is a pretty balance from 2017 till 2025. Was 2017, 2018, 2019, were those good times to buy and sell a home? Yeah, it was balanced. It was a good market. We're still less days on market now than then, but everybody's talking about how inventory, it's a seller's market. It's no much more a seller's market or buyer's market than it was in 17, 18, or 19. We just have much more normalized trends that are much more balanced than they were before. We are creating an extremely balanced market, which means you have to work a little bit harder on the listing and on the buyer to make sure that we get both sides to where they're going, which is a closing. Now, what else are your consumers seeing? I want to talk about this one because your consumers are seeing, where do most of your consumers shop? Are your consumers shopping on your website? Are they shopping on MLS? Or are the majority of consumers shopping on Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, Homes.com? Where are the majority of them shopping? Majority of them are shopping on sites like Zillow. So let's see what the borrower, buyer, consumer, looker is seeing when they go to Zillow. We're literally just going to pull up a regular Zillow listing. This is what your competition looks like, and this is what your listing may look like as well if you haven't taken a few steps. So regular Zillow listing has a 3D tour, but is a regular Zillow listing. It's not a showcase. We're going to scroll down a little bit. We're going to look at a new feature that is on every single listing. This new feature, Explore Offer Strategies. Your consumers are seeing this. Your buyers that you are working with, that you have exclusive buyer brokerage agreements with, are seeing this. And this is what they're going to. How many people have a consumer that they rely on the Zestimate? And the Zestimate says all. Whatever the Zestimate is, that's what we want. We have a lot of people rely on that. Do you think that consumers will also rely on some of this data? Exploring offer strategies. Let's look and see what is the list price. List price is $410,000. I think this was just $414 yesterday. So $410. Zillow says to a borrower, it's $410 is the list price. You want to make a strong offer, Mr. Buyer? Let's offer $394,000 for the list price of $410. That's what Zillow is considering a strong offer. You want to make a competitive offer? Offer $391,000 to $394,000. Offer $15,000 to $20,000 below the list price will make you competitive, and you'll have a 70 to 90% chance of winning that offer. Want a moderate offer? Offer $388,000 to $391,000. So offering $20,000 to $25,000 below the list price, and you have a 50 to 70% chance of winning. Or a weak offer, $370,000 to $388,000. Offering 10% below the list price, you have an under 50% chance of winning that offer. So again, strong offer, $410,000 list price. I don't even care if it's the right price or not, if it's within the range or not. What's Zillow using to create that data? What are they using? Do they know what every buyer is going to offer? No, they know what homes listed for and what homes sold for. And they have an algorithm that says, if all of the homes are listed at this price, the Zestimate for your home based on this algorithm is X. Now, if all the homes listed at this price, and I have all the data of all the homes that sold at this price, there is an average list price to sale price ratio, which most of our averages, it's going to be around like 95%. That's kind of what we're seeing as a norm. So a 95% list price to sale price ratio. And if Zillow says that that's the statistic in this market, because that's what their algorithm is showing, that most homes are selling within that that's the average. So if I recommend you make the average list price to sale price ratio offer, 95% of the homes are selling at that price because I have the list price and I have the sale price data. You have a 90% chance of winning that offer by offering $394,000 or more, because that's what my data shows me. What does their data not show them? Their data does not compare the list price to what the value of the property is. That list price might be the absolute best price, and that thing will sell in a heartbeat. That list price could be $20,000 below what the sold comparables are, and it's still going to show the average list to sale price ratio and tell them to offer 95% of the lower offer. Let's say the value of this home was $430,000. The seller listed it at $410,000 to elicit multiple offers. Your consumer is looking at this price, saying, well, Zillow says offer at $394,000. That's going to be strong. No, but the comps sold at $430,000. All of the comps sold at $430,000. This one just came on the market. This is going to have multiple offers. If you want the best chance, we got to go over asking price. Zillow can't do that. It's just an algorithm that's showing you this is what the list to sale price ratio is. And then they come down to competitive. Looks like about 70 to 90% of the homes are selling at a 90% to 95% list to sale price ratio. Then it looks like only 50 to 70% of the homes are selling at the lower list to sale price ratio, and less than 50% of all of the homes in any market, it's probably way lower than that, have sold at this list to sale price ratio. But your consumers are seeing this. The consumers are using Zillow as their marketing measuring tool. So if Zillow says it, it's got to be true, right? Zestimate, it's got to be true, right? So what is the value that we can bring here? Number one, understanding our markets, talking with buyers, having the conversations, doing a full pricing presentation as you would for a seller, but doing it for a buyer. Showing them all of the actives, pendings, and solds, explaining to them why this might be a good strategy, this might not be a good strategy. But again, this is what the consumers are seeing. Zillow is also saying this is a buyer's market. The market in 33572 tends to favor buyers. How is that a buyer's market? What is a seller's market? Okay, well, no, what is a balanced market? A balanced market is about a 6-month supply of homes, about a 180-day supply of homes, anywhere between 150 and 210-day supply of homes, which is about 5, 6, pushing up to 7 months. That's a balanced market. Less than 6-month supply of homes, a 1, 2, 3, or 4 month supply of homes, a 30, 60, 90, or 120-day supply of homes favors a seller typically. A more than 7-month supply of homes, a 210 days and plus, favors buyers and is more of a buyer's market. This is still more of a seller's market where buyers are finding favor on the right properties because sellers didn't price correctly, properly, take advantage of the knowledge and expertise that their agent brought to them to put it at the right price so it sells in a shorter period of time with competing offers potentially. It's still more of a seller's market that is favoring buyers more because they can get credits, they can get things like that. That's just the statistics of it. Do we still have multiple offers? Yes. Do we still have homes selling above asking price? Yes. Do we still have cash offers coming in offering full price? Yes. It's still happening. But they're telling you that the buyer this tends to favors buyer because it's a buyer's market, even though 60 days on market is the average. 49.5 days they say 50 days is the average. This one's been on for 60 days. Your offer strategy, this home has been listed more days than the median. Negotiation is often possible in a buyer's market. Now, this home has been on market for more than the median, which means that their marketing strategy should be poised for a price reduction or some type of negotiation if we put an offer in. Not because it's a buyer's market, but because whatever strategy this agent and seller chose was not the one that was going to maximize their profits and sale price. They chose to go above the asking price because they know they want room for negotiation. Whereas if we price it differently, we create more attraction from the buyers and we sell in a quicker period of time. So again, your consumers are seeing this. We have to be able to control these discussions and know what's going on. So now back to how can you benefit from this? You have access, and I hate to continue to beat this horse, but you have access to a product that will remove that. You have access to a product that will take that stat and that offer strategy and completely take it off of your listing. And that product is a Zillow showcase. Your Zillow showcase has the ability to remove, let's find a showcase listing. Your Zillow showcase has the ability to remove the offer strategy. Remember, it was down here. Go to facts and features, price history, public text. There is no offer strategy section on here. And this is our listing. One of our agents chose to showcase this property, and that is one of the benefits that we remove that, and it is no longer accessible. It's not there. What also does the showcase do? Do you see a Zestimate? Nope. But what you do see is the agent. You do see the ability to contact the agent. You do see the brokerage. You do see the home being showcased differently. You don't see it going to the consumer side. Who controls those settings? Which settings are you talking about? The settings as far as not displaying the offer strategy is something that Zillow does for a showcase. If you showcase your property, it will not, it's not basically, we'll put it this way, Zillow is not trying to hijack your listing if you pay them more money to market your property as a showcase. We'll put it bluntly from that perspective. But what they did is say, hey, if you give me some money, I'm going to give you a better opportunity to create more eyes, less friction, less objections, more opportunity for you to get a borrower, a buyer directly to you. So Zillow controls those settings. And if you choose to showcase your property, you have now maximized your ability to showcase the property in the best light, remove all of the objections and friction that could be there from a buyer, from a borrower, no Zestimate, no offer strategy. You're highlighted as the agent and you have the best possibility of getting any lead off of there. So again, today was about what is your consumer seeing? How do we control these narratives? Understanding what the facts are. The facts are we are still in a little bit of a seller's market because we're probably anywhere between 60 and 120 days, depending on our markets. Some of them are a little bit more. Some of our neighborhoods are more of a buyer's market, but it's very hyper-local. Make sure you understand your neighborhoods. Make sure you understand your zip codes. Make sure you understand your cities because they're all different. And your consumers are hearing and seeing all of those stats. They're seeing Tampa is this. Apollo Beach is this. 33572 is this. Mira Bay is this. And guess what? They're all correct. Tampa could be a buyer's market. That neighborhood could be a seller's market. They're all correct. Home prices could be falling. Home prices could be rising. It's all correct. It all depends on which data you pull and what you look at. But for every piece of data you pull, I can show you another piece of data that says that no, here's why we still have a good possibility and good opportunity because those stats are skewed towards this. It's more in that area. We have our hyper-local market here where we're still seeing this, and this. So you have to be able to control that narrative, have those discussions, and make sure everybody understands. That is my time for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful, happy Wednesday. It is April 16th. So please get out, talk to more people. There's not a single closing commission check that did not start with a connection and a conversation. So let's make sure we get out there, have more conversations, help more people to understand and navigate this market because they need you more than ever. Happy Wednesday.